Even with a ceasefire in place, on the radar screens monitoring the Strait of Hormuz, the movement hasn't stopped. To enforce order, the U.S. Navy has deployed a massive naval blockade, positioning littoral combat ships across the Gulf's primary shipping lanes to cut off Iran's access to the global market. According to the White House, the strategy is a total success. President Donald Trump has stated that the blockade has left the Iranian economy in a state of collapse, with their leadership ready to negotiate for relief. However, regional intelligence agencies are reporting activity that contradicts the official political narrative. This raises a crucial question about the actual state of the blockade. Is it an impenetrable wall, as described by Washington, or a permeable line that is failing to contain the situation? The distance between these public claims of victory and the technical data from the sea suggests that a different phase of the conflict is unfolding behind the scenes. Reports from maritime tracking sources indicate that 52 Iranian vessels broke through the American blockade in a single 72-hour window. The group was made up of 21 cargo ships and 31 oil tankers, vessels large enough to be tracked by satellite even without active transponders. These ships utilized dark fleet tactics, deactivating their AIS transponders to vanish from standard international tracking grids. They also utilize spoofing, broadcasting fake identity signals that create digital ghost ships in different locations to lure U.S. patrol assets away from the real convoy. While the blockade has reduced daily traffic from 140 ships to roughly 20, the data shows that the line is far from impenetrable. By maintaining this flow of goods, Iran is demonstrating that the U.S. Navy cannot unilaterally dictate the movement of oil in the Gulf. Beyond the trade of oil, the Iranian military is using this pause in direct hostilities to upgrade its arsenal for future engagement. Recovered intelligence indicates that Iranian forces secured an unexploded GBU-57, one of the U.S. military's most advanced 30,000-pound bunker-buster bombs. Iranian research units are now dissecting the weapon, attempting to map the internal guidance systems and engineering that define America's heavy strike capabilities. While the Iranian media claims they can build a functional replica immediately, the actual engineering challenge makes that unlikely. However, studying the hardware provides them with specific data on how to harden their own underground facilities. Rather than moving towards surrender, the IRGC is utilizing the ceasefire to study U.S. technology and update their own target lists. The strain of this standoff is now breaking the economic alliances that have governed the region for decades. In a move that shifts the power balance in the Gulf, the United Arab Emirates has announced it is leaving OPEC, marking a public break from Saudi Arabia's leadership. The UAE is looking to increase its independent oil production to offset the financial risks of the maritime conflict, essentially prioritizing its own economic survival over regional unity. This move creates a paradox. It lowers global oil prices, which benefits Washington, but it also destroys the unified front the U.S. relies on to manage Middle Eastern security. The ongoing conflict with Iran is acting as a catalyst, dissolving old partnerships and sparking new rivalries between Gulf neighbors. This regional fragmentation is being reflected back in Washington, where the internal consensus on the strategy is beginning to fail. Members of the administration's own party, including J.D. Vance, have begun questioning the Pentagon's version of the conflict. This faction argues that the optimistic briefings provided by officials like Pete Hegseth are concealing the actual level of damage to U.S. assets and the long-term risks to personnel in the region. This domestic political friction suggests that the narrative of a successful, low-risk blockade was designed more for perception management than for military reality. The evidence at sea and in the capital shows that the ceasefire is a temporary pause being used for rearmament. Regional alliances are in flux, and the U.S. is facing a reality it no longer fully controls.